Welcome back, Student of the Game podcast. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. All right, so we have a final score for the Bucks versus the Suns, 123 to 119, which was a very, very, very back and forth game, but it did not start off that way. I mean, the Suns, they started off jumping on the Bucks. It was jumping on them, and I'm like, oh boy, it's looked like it's gonna be a blowout. But then the second quarter came, and the Bucks, they persevered and they came back and they actually took the lead, and then it kept going back and forth, back and forth. As a matter of fact, it was about a 5 to 7 minute stretch where each team was just going back and forth, scoring baskets, and there were no stops. All right, but man, that fourth quarter, man, let me tell you, that's one of the. I'm not going to say it's the best fourth quarter in the finals I've ever seen, but I think it's one of the best, one of the most memorable. I mean, especially for me because, I mean, my Houston Rockets is not in it, right? So I don't have a dog in the fight, but I did predict Bucks in 6, all right? And it's looked like we're on the way to a Bucks in 6, people, all right? People thought I was crazy. Now, I was out of line for saying Bucks in 5 earlier, but see, when I said Bucks in 5, I thought the Bucks was going to shock the world by winning game 1 without Giannis, but then Giannis came and played, so that threw off my pick. But still, Bucks in 6. But anyways, man, this game here, Chris Paul, man, like, legacy time, man. All season we kept hearing, throughout this postseason we kept hearing about the legacy of Chris Paul. And also we've been hearing a lot about the legacy of Giannis. Okay, so whose legacy is going to trump the other? Okay, man. But shout out to Drew Holiday, man. Let me tell you something. I did an episode I did a segment a couple episodes ago on the podcast, and I said it's time for Holiday to take this matchup personal. I said that after game 1, and it seems like after game 2, he has taken this matchup personal. This matchup with Chris Paul personal. I'm not saying this because of me or what I said, but I'm pretty sure his coaches, hell, even himself, and I'm pretty sure his 2 brothers who also play in the NBA, they probably said, hey, bro, you're going to have to take this matchup personal. It's going to come down to you and Chris Paul. He has the ball in his hands. You're going to have to pick him up 94 feet, and he has been picking him up 94 feet. But guess what? Holiday finally had a breakout game where he was able to shoot the ball well. This game he had 27 points, dropping 13 dimes. 13 dimes, people. He had a phenomenal game. He can straight up say, hey, I outplayed the point guard. In Marvel, there's a character called the God Butcher. He's going to be in the next Thor movie. Well, True Holiday was the God Butcher tonight. All right? Because Chris Paul is called the point guard. Well, True Holiday was the God Butcher. All right? So, man, but the Bucks, they're going to have to close it out in game 6 because I don't think you want to come back there in game 7, but man, can you imagine beating the Phoenix Suns team who's number 2 in the West, beating them 3 games in a row? If you can, now try to imagine beating them 4 games in a row, right? But that play at the end of the game, like that right there, like I really thought that the Suns was about to take it over because the possession before that, Chris Paul drove in and to the lane and made the layup over Cunnington, and the Bucks, they wasn't able to score on the next possession, and you have Devin Booker who was lighting it up. All right, Book was lighting it up. I kid you not. And what happened was that Book came down, and I'm like, he got inside the paint. Oh, he about to score, and then Holiday came and stripped him. Now, a lot of times we're used to seeing that kind of play, but we're seeing a foul being called on that play, right? But see, here's what you got to think about. In Game 4. There were like 4 or 5 times where Book should have been fouled out. They didn't call foul. And a couple minutes prior to that possession, Chris Middleton drove to the basket and Devin Booker clearly fouls him. Okay? Clearly fouls him. And no call. Okay, they're going to let him play. Well, Holiday, even though I don't think it's a foul, but there was going to be no foul call on that, people, because here's the thing. Book, you have been getting away with a lot of calls. All right, so that's one of those things. Hey, the refs did not want to decide the game. Holiday stripped the ball from him. He took it down court, and at first I thought he was about to pull up for a 3, But you see Giannis coming in, trailing. He throws it up to Giannis and boom. I'm like, okay, potential and one play, but Chris Paul did foul him. Now, I don't think that was a regular foul. I think that was a flagrant foul. I mean, you don't undercut a man while he's in the air, people. I mean, come on now. Thank God Giannis was able to control himself enough to where he did not severely hurt himself. But let's say his hands would have slipped off the rim or something. That would have been devastating, right? That's what I'm like, man, like that's dirty. That's dirty, But anyways, great game by the Bucks. Great game. The Suns, they still played a real good game, but unfortunately, when you have games like that, somebody has to lose. There are no ties in the NBA Finals, people. There are no ties. But I said Bucks in 6, and I mean it. Bucks in 6. Now, a problem that I had with the Suns, here's my beef with the Suns. Okay. Chris Paul took 15 shots. Devin Booker took 33 shots. Okay. DeAndre Ayton took 12 shots. He shot 7 of 12, had 20 points, like 13, 14 rebounds. DeAndre Ayton, he had 4 fouls. That's because he's guarding Giannis. Okay. Giannis had 2 fouls. Brook Lopez had 2 fouls. Bobby Portis had 0 fouls. So that means that the person who's guarding DeAndre Ayton wasn't even close to getting in foul trouble. You know why? Because Ayton is not getting enough touches. You know what? I'm gonna talk about this I'll talk about this in a next segment as far as on the video. But no, you know what? I'm gonna talk about it now. I gotta talk about it now. DeAndre Ayton, okay, like you have to give the ball to DeAndre Ayton, people. Like, check this out. When you give DeAndre Ayton more opportunities to score, guess what? That causes Giannis to exert more energy on defense. And if you're the Suns, you want Giannis to exert energy on defense. But they are not feeding the beast. Hey, man, listen. Book is doing a phenomenal job scoring from the perimeter, okay? But let me tell you something. Check this out, all right? PJ Tucker is guarding Book for the most part, all right? You'll see Middleton on there part-time. You'll see Holiday on there part-time. But see, Book is not causing Middleton and Holiday to exert a lot of energy because they're not guarding him full-time. PJ Tucker is exerting a lot of energy guarding him, but PJ Tucker, for offense, pretty much if he's not running, trying to scramble to get an offensive rebound, he's at the corner pocket, ready to shoot a 3, stationary. All right, but for the Suns, Book is not causing. See, Giannis is here's the thing. Giannis is the Bucks' best player. All right, and Book is the Suns' best player. Okay, Book is not causing Giannis to exert energy. But if you give the ball to Ayton, oh man, Ayton, listen, he's 7 of 12. I could see if he was 2 for 12. The man is 7 for 12. Listen, run some plays where you can get this man the ball in the post up. Chris Paul, that's your job as the point guard. Okay, come down court, give this man the ball. I mean, he's setting you some awesome screens for real. Okay, but you got to repay him. He's out there exerting energy trying to defend Giannis. And that is a hard thing to do, people. That is just extremely difficult because right now Giannis is unguardable. Wait till this young man starts making free throws. Now, he makes more free throws at home. All right, but, I mean, you have to reward your big man. And the Suns guard Book and CP3, they're not rewarding him enough. I get it. Book is averaging almost 35 points a game in this finals. But check this out. It's not a dominant 35 points. Okay? Get that ball to Ayton. Stop with the isolation ball. Stop it. People got on James Harden and Chris Paul when they played together with the whole ISO ball. But guess what? They didn't have a threat in the post. See, when you have Clint Capella or Tyson Chandler, players like that, guess what? You're going to run the play where they can just catch the ball and dunk it. Okay, but with Ayton, you can run a pick and roll where he can catch the ball and dunk it. You can throw the alley oop to him, but you can also give him the ball and let him go to work. All right, like Ayton deserved to get that opportunity, right? The last game, Giannis got the big block on him. All right, so that's what I'm like, man. You know, some people, they just pay attention to the stats, but me, no. When you have a real good big man like DeAndre Ayton, you give him the ball. I believe DeAndre Ayton, he's capable of averaging at least 22, 24 points a game. Okay, but in this playoffs, I think there's a lot of opportunities to where, hey man, this young man should have at least two 30-point games. I mean, he is shooting almost 70% in the postseason. All right, give him the ball. Force Giannis to exert energy on defense. Okay, it was a shot that Chris Middleton made that put the Bucks up by like 8. I think. I mean, he was like in the corner, shoot the three diagonally from the corner or whatever, diagonal from the basket, the 3-point line. He did a like bam bam and step back. I forgot who was guarding him, and it switched. I'm like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right, that's why I said, hey, if he could take this type of game on the road, we could call him Batman. But guess what? Giannis is Superman. Middleton will be Batman to Giannis Superman. But this was a big game for Milwaukee. Wow, the Suns. You know the old saying, people, where they say, it's not a series until the home team loses a game. Well, the home team has lost the game, people. Now we officially have a series. I tell you what, share your thoughts. If you're watching the video right now on YouTube, I tell you what, share your thoughts down below. Tell me, hey, what did you think of Game 5, and who do you think is going to win Game 6? Do you think the Bucks going to close it out in 6, or do you think the Suns are going to extend it to a Game 7? And do you think that the Suns should, hey, run more plays to get DeAndre Ayton the ball more? Okay, share your thoughts down below. Hit that like and subscribe button. Student of the game. Now, if you're listening to the podcast,